Yes, it was ugly, but the Phoenix Suns did pick up a big victory on the first night of a back-to-back thanks to Devin Booker and Jalen Green, plus the bench mob coming through with some defense. We're going to break down why this win was important and why you shouldn't just turn your head at a 20-plus point victory on the other side of this. Sickos unite for a turned-up edition of the PHNX Suns post-game show, of course, brought to you by our friends over at Bet365. Download the Bet365 app. Use code PHNX365 when you sign up and find out why winning is everything at Bet365. I'm Eric. We've got Gil, Espo, Steven, and, of course, the Freckled Mamba beyond the Mac, making all of the magic happen as the Phoenix Suns turned on the magic in the fourth quarter, 131-105, beating the Memphis Grizzlies before they take on the Orlando Magic on the second night of a back-to-back tomorrow. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button as we dive into the second straight Phoenix Suns victory today.
Hey, big hello to Humble Rumble, Kara, Super Ernie, Matthew, Kev from Mesa, everybody, Ashley in the chat. A big thank you for being here. And I got to say to Ashley, I got to wish you and the Kobe Rupp Raptors a big good luck in your championship game today down under. Go get a win for us, boys.
Let's go. Let's get two big wins for us, for the PHNX Suns community.
I expect a ring, though, for the shout-out.
Wow,
that's all I'm going to say.
We would put it on the set. If we got a ring, we would put the ring on the set. So, yeah, hit that like button. Hit that subscribe button as well. We have a lot to get into today as the Phoenix Suns did kind of sleepwalk a little bit to their victory, but end up picking up their 42nd win of the season. We've got a whole bevy of segments that we're going to be getting to, including our very first segment. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, it's time to throw it on the gill.
Listen, it wasn't pretty the entire game. It was pretty in the fourth quarter. Win the fourth quarter, 40-16 is big to win this game by 26 points. And the most important number, we'll get to that a little bit later. But I will talk about a different number, and that's 36 points from Devin Booker. We saw him get disrespected by the officials again, laying on the floor, getting a lot of contact, not getting to the line, but he still efficiently did his job. Jalen Green efficiently did his job. They are figuring it out at the right time for this team. I don't care if they're playing against the Grizzlies, the Magic, whoever it is. They're clicking, and when they click, this team is clicking. And big shout out to Collin Gillespie for finally getting out of the slump. I know it wasn't the most encouraging effort for the most part of the game, but you got the win, and you're moving forward, and you're seeing good things in the most important players. That's all you could ask for.
I love when we throw it on the gill. It's fresh, never frozen.
No, this is pure,
no preservatives, none of that.
Pure
none
organic
that.
beef. Okay.
Oh, yeah, none of that.
We throw it on the gill.
As Humble Rumble says, can you smell what the gill is cooking?
Well, we've been cooking here at PHNX Suns. Not only do we have throw it on the gill, but we're also throwing up some big numbers, SPG's number of the night. Steven, what's your number for tonight's game?
Yeah, we got 42. 42 for the number of wins the Suns have on the season. And I think it's a solid number considering what they've kind of endured this season, all of the newness they've had to work through, and on top of all of that, the build up to this moment. So last season and everything that was left to be desired from that, you go from leaving a lot to be desired to overgoing the expectations placed upon you by most people on the masses side. So that's a solid job. Job is not finished. Shout out Kobe Bryant for that, but they are in a good space, and I think this is a solid foundation that they're laying regardless of how the rest of the season plays out.
Yeah, I mean, you have people out there saying they could be an utter disappointment and that they were just that bad. And, you know, they've proven each and every one of them wrong.
On the precipice of being the laughingstock of the NBA, one might say?
Laugh all you want, clowns, but they have a winning season this year when nobody expected it. So,
I mean, it's a big deal. right? Because at the end of last year, right, this franchise was on the precipice of being a laughingstock in the NBA.
Probably stop saying that.
Yeah, probably. You can clip it all you want. I mean, but here's the thing, right? You go into this season and you start off this season hot, right? And you kind of get people in the door. And I know that these last couple of months have not exactly been great. That post All-Star break stretch, they've been about 500, but to still end the season over 500 no matter what happens, and like, come on, they're gonna win another game here before the end of the season. That is just a big testament to this team's resilience, because I know they've always been fun and we've never, doubted them on their effort side of things. But let's be honest, like, you've missed Jalen Green for over half the season. Devin Booker's missed significant time. Haywood Highsmith, Grayson Allen, Dillon Brooks, Mark Williams, like, you've had almost every significant role player and starter on your team miss time this year, and you were already not supposed to be good. And now you're here on March 30th with one game over 500, a chance to go 2 games over 500 at worst for the entire season before we hit April. That's so impressive to this team.
Yeah, although, I don't want to sugarcoat tonight, because Ayrton, do we have that? Let's be honest. This was definitely a Buscemi tonight. It was a cool Buscemi. They did some nice things in the fourth to make it much better. But the reality is, it was still a Buscemi. And for those of you that are new here, a Buscemi is, you know what? It ain't pretty, but it gets the job done. And that's definitely what tonight was, just like Steve Buscemi. It's named after. They kind of sleptwalked through the first three and a half quarters. Defense didn't really show up. It was not until the back half of that fourth quarter that they locked in. They crush them in that fourth quarter, 40-16, I believe, in point differential, and that was the difference in the game. But this was not a pretty win most of the way. There were some things that certainly were left to be desired in this 42nd win. Of the
was not pretty at all, and we were a little disappointed, frustrated with the effort and execution, specifically on the defensive end against this Grizzlies team who, again, they have some talent on that roster, not a lot of talent. It's a depleted roster given their injuries. A lot of guys scratching and clawing to try to make a way for themselves in the league. But the cool part of it is Devin Booker, 36 points in 26 minutes. Jalen Green, 21 points in 24 minutes. For everything that you did not do, your stars did not have to play in the fourth quarter.
Yes.
Knowing what lies on the other end, there is a flight to Central Florida awaiting for this team, and a matchup with a very physical Magic team tomorrow is going, and maybe they're going to Disney World, basically. But this is a Magic team that is in search for answers, and they might be trying to find them against you, so it's not going to be easy. So getting the rest for at least those 2 guys, and Royce only played 24 minutes as well. So the fact that 3 starters were able to play under 26 minutes in this game is the one positive I could take from it, but took you long enough.
I mean, this is a classic, like, good team plays really bad team type of game. And I get it. You had the last game against the Utah Jazz where you come out and you just completely dominate them, right? Besides maybe the first, 3 to 4 minutes of the game, you never looked back. This one, it was back and forth. And, give credit where credit is due for Memphis. They were playing their asses off, right? And it was everybody. They were playing hard, and the Suns lacked a little bit of an edge, right? But then they came out and they turned up in the fourth quarter, and there was no looking back. I don't think the Suns were ever worried about losing this game. I think if they were, Grayson Allen probably would have played tonight as a late addition to the injury report. This is one of those games where you play your guys under, 30 minutes. You don't play all the guys who probably could have played on the first night of a back-to-back. You would have liked sharper execution through the first 3 quarters, but you end up winning this game by 26, in large part because the Grizzlies turned on the tank button.
Yeah, but to me, you've got so few games left, and the defensive intensity wasn't there. And I get it. You still don't have Dillon Brooks and all these things. I just would have liked to see crisper defense, because you saw a similar pattern against the Jazz early in that game. Filipowski went down the lane with no resistance whatsoever. We saw that tonight at times as well. Those are the little things that keep me slightly concerned. Sure, maybe they played with their food a little bit, Steven, as you suggested they shouldn't do in the pregame. But as we get closer and closer to the season winding down, I need to see them hitting on all cylinders, regardless of who your opponent is.
Yeah, that's the point in the approach with these last handful of games. Opponent, whatever, it is relevant because you got to travel and play against somebody. That part aside, it's about you and you. No Michael Jackson, but you're looking at the man in the mirror right now. And what you're doing with that is you're trying to play the best basketball that you can so that once you get the full complement of guys and all of a sudden the games grow where there's no guaranteed tomorrows, you're hitting the ground running. You can't be taking steps the wrong direction at this point of the season. Like you talked about in pregame, like we talked about Saturday night, Jalen Green talked about closing not just games, closing a season. And the way that entails how you're typically going to play on the other side of the conclusion of the season in the regular season when the games grow more meaningful. Don't play with your food. Go out and handle your business and play the game on the terms that are going to make you a successful team, the one that's got you to 42 wins.
I don't think this would excuse it, but I'm curious if at all we think that the long flight to Memphis yesterday is a reason why they were a little sleepwalky, sluggish at the end of the floor.
Here's the thing, right? Like, offensively, they were pretty great tonight,
yeah, sharp.
right? Like, they were pretty great tonight offensively. Didn't feel like they made a ton of mistakes. I think there were a couple of untimely turnovers that I wasn't a fan of. That's just kind of going to happen at some points. It was like defensively, Memphis was just playing harder and taking advantage of, I don't even want to say laziness. Like you said, they just like kind of weren't as sharp. And I'd be more worried about it if that would have been a consistent theme with this team all year. But like, defense has been their standard. I have no concerns whatsoever that when it push comes to shove, they're going to turn up defensively. Sometimes games like tonight just happen where you don't have it all. And then you get close to the end of the game. You're like, we're the better team. And then it was your bench that put them away this time. I'm encouraged about a couple of things in this game. I think one of them is the combination of Devin Booker and Jalen Green, who just were igniting offensively. 0 free throws attempted between the two of them, but 57 total points, right? And I don't think either of them played in the fourth quarter, and Jalen Green only played 24 minutes overall. So I'm encouraged to see those two continue to kind of get their stride. I don't feel like they, took this game lightly per se because of how they played offensively. I just think it wasn't sharpest night defensively, and I think they built up a lot of goodwill to where I'm not too worried about that, unless this is like the next 7 games are all not sharp defensively. Then I think there's a problem.
And that's why I pointed out, because I said at one point it reminded me a little bit of where we were in not the Bucks loss, but the first game of the 6-game road trip in Milwaukee, where they were a little bit kind of sluggish and not sharp. And then eventually they kind of got together and pulled away from a team that they were better than. And I point that out as far as the road trip goes, because one, you have, again, a flight now and play on the second and a back-to-back. And I wouldn't be surprised if they're sharper tomorrow, one, because it's a tougher test, and two, because they're kind of in that mode now. But also, if you want this season to go the way it could go as far as the postseason goes, you're going to have to start and fly to Texas or fly to Oklahoma, which isn't a quick flight either way, and be ready to go. So whatever this reason or whatever it is, they need to figure that out right now, if that's a part of the whole equation of being a little sluggish and kind of operating and not as sharp on the first game of a road trip.
Chad, I want to know, were you concerned about the defense? I want you guys to weigh in on this too, because I obviously there's some difference of opinion on the panel, which is allowed, I guess. And so I'm slightly concerned, but I understand why others wouldn't be. But I want to hear what you have to say.
Man, I just want them to continue putting together full games worth of execution. That's the side where there is no margin for error, because that is the side that you dictate the terms of a game from. Other teams have a little bit of leeway on defense because they have a Nikola Jokic or, someone of that ilk of offensive guys that can control the game. Devin has moments where he can do that, but they as a team comprehensively have to be elite defensively. Really good is not going to be what turns them into a team that might end somebody's season a little bit sooner than they expect. And that's the side that I have higher expectations for them, just because of what they've shown to be their body of work and route to success this season.
Yeah, I just feel like if the last 2 games were flipped, right, it was like, okay, you kind of are a little slow the first 3 quarters, you turn it on, you blow out Utah, and then you come into tonight against Memphis and you turn your defense on and they've got nothing to do with you. It's a different tone. But 2 out of the last 3 games, or your last 2 games, you completely dominated, at the end of the day, blew out 2 inferior teams, right? Mm-hmm. The Memphis Grizzlies were never going to win this game. I know that it wasn't ideal, but the Memphis Grizzlies were never going to win this game. Yeah. And I know it's not what you want, but it is kind of a human aspect where you see a team that's actively tanking, a team that has nobody out there that can sustain performance for 4 quarters, and maybe they aren't as sharp as they should be. again, if they go into tomorrow and we see the similar thing, I'll be sitting here on the post game with a completely different tune. But to me, this was just classic. Good team plays bad team. Bad team plays their asses off the first 3 quarters. They don't have enough juice. It's over by the 4th.
7 games to get everything figured out before you're into one or done games.
No, I hear you. I mean, they won by
Just-
26 points tonight, though, right? Like,
Again, I understand the result in the end. I was just a little concerned about the defense, like I was at times against Utah, and hopefully Dillon Brooks comes back.
sure.
And there's no concern about that. You know,
Well, Dillon Brooks is not back, but our dude of the night is still playing. We're going to talk about him, and we're going to keep on rolling on the PHNX Suns post-game show on the other side of our first break. Well, the Phoenix Suns were not hot, really, during this game, except for Devin Booker and Jalen Green, but it's always hot here in Arizona. Even when it's not as hot as you would expect it to be, it's still like 90-something degrees outside. You're like, oh, it's nice. No, it's actually 95 degrees outside, which means inside your house, that means the prices are going up. Well, usually, but when you use our friends over at APS for all of your energy needs, they help you find the best plans to save money. How about a rate plan option where you can look back at your last couple months of spending and choose the rate plan that is best for you, and then you can use that one going forward and save yourself the most money. Or budget billing, where you can average out your payment over an entire year so you pay about the same amount every single month. Makes it so much easier to budget and to plan, and with prices of everything rising, budgeting and planning is a very important thing. Learn more about budget billing and rate plan options for managing your bill at aps.com/let's talk. That's aps.com/let's talk.
we talked a lot about threes in the watch along, and do you guys want to hit on some threes and look to the sky? You want to do that? The Arizona Lottery has that for you with triple games, triple the fun, and now you can play 3 exciting triple themed games from the Arizona Lottery. Play triple red sevens and triple cash payout scratchers for your chance to win top prizes of $100,000. What would you do with $100,000, Steven?
I would invest in some cryptocurrencies.
How about some wheels too? And triple red sevens fast play has a progressive jackpot starting at $30,000. Find all 3 tickets at a retailer near you, like Circle K.
Breaking news. According to Dwayne Rankin,
Rankin.
Dillon Brooks is set to return tomorrow night
There we
against
go.
the Magic.
Let's go.
Let's get it. Dillon
Let's
Brooks.
Actually, returning against the team he got hurt against.
You know what I thought about as I heard Wii U.
What?
Shame on me. I saw Dillon post game Saturday. He was leaving the arena. I was headed to the media room. It was like a glancing, quick. We made eye contact. He said, "What's up?" I said, "What's up?" And I threw my fist out. And I think he fist. And I think he. No, definitely not that. But I think I'm almost positive he fist bumped me with his left hand.
Oh,
But that should have been a telltale.
He's ready
that
for
was him saying,
contact.
I'm back.
He's
That
ready
was him
for
saying, I'm
contact.
back. Yeah, it was one of those. It was one of those things.
Well, I mean, look,
Yeah.
that's huge news.
That is.
I mean,
of course,
We just said.
of course.
Like, we're ready to have him back.
well, and that also gives you a 7-game run up to kind of get him reacclimated.
Yeah.
We've seen Jalen and Devin really kind of come into their own, and a lot of questions have been, where does Dillon fit into all of this? And now you're going to see tomorrow, and let's just unpack this a little bit more, where he fits in. And the Magic have not been the best team recently as well. I know they're better than the Grizzlies, but this is a good kind of way to reincorporate Dillon and kind of get a little extra spark, a little extra juice into that lineup as you get into the end of the season.
You have some good teams you're going up against, and for a team that doesn't have much time to try to build up as much repetition together as you would ask for, you will hope that you can at least have it against some good teams. And you do have some good teams that will test you in some very different ways to force you to learn and grow on the fly.
Yeah. So you're going to have to lock it in now. Now Ott has to figure out what his rotations
Exactly.
are, how he wants to approach this, what his starting lineup is. These are the things that now you have 7 games to start tinkering with. Yeah, I know Mark isn't back, although when Book said we need to get this guy back, in the post-game interview with Amanda Pflugrad pointing at Mark Williams, Mark got a big old smile, so I'm thinking he might not be too far behind Brooks. But, yeah, it starts now. As of tomorrow, that's your lock-in. Those 7 games are your dress rehearsal for whatever your play-in matchup is, and then hopefully whatever your playoff series
Makes
is.
me so intrigued to see how the starting lineup looks. One thing that we talked about with Dillon, not to worry about him getting his legs back under him, obviously going to get back in game shape, but being in shape in general. Hand injury means you can continue to work on that. And Coach Ott last week said, you guys know Dillon. He's not missing any opportunity to work hard. Little added motivation, gets to go against Desmond Bane, his guy from their time in Memphis. So we'll see him probably come with that edge that we've known him to have. And I don't think some of the issues that we've seen or what we saw tonight as far as a slow start and not being sharp, he's not going to allow that to happen. We talk so much about there's only but so much you can say from the bench. You know, when you're being a leader from the bench, now he can do all of that on the court, lead by example. And now the starting unit has that guy back. Goody can just be that guy for the second unit because we've seen him be that guy for the starting unit at times too when he's sharing the floor with them as well. So it means so much for this team, obviously, because of how talented he is, but the leader that he is. And as we've all talked about, 7 games to figure out the balance with him, Devin Booker, Jalen Green, and then hopefully this is just the beginning of getting other guys in the lineup as well.
Yeah, I'm so fascinated, man. I'm so excited for this, Steven.
Man, I'm glad Gil mentioned the leadership because I feel like it allows them to reshuffle the deck on lineups, but also in that capacity in the non-basketball sense. So a team full of leaders, clearly by the way that they have navigated this season in different kind of iterations of their roster just not being healthy and whole. You have Collin, who can now go from potentially having to play substitute teacher in a certain extent, being a point guard, to now potentially being able to go to the role that he had his claim to fame with going back to last season, but also earlier this season as well. And that's as the 7th or 6th starter, if you count him and Grayson in that same kind of context of being an extension of the starting unit. His leadership gets to go back to that specific faction of the rotation. Devin and Jalen can go back to being themselves even more so. Dillon's able to do the stuff that he does best. And I think there's just a lot more alignment with everything that the Suns are doing when they have their kind of spiritual leader and their kind of extra effort leader back in the mix.
I'm interested to see Dillon and Rasheer on the court together. What Dillon can pull out of Rasheer. What extra level we can see with him. And you won't see a defensive performance like we saw tonight, though. There will be zero sleepwalking if it comes to Dillon Brooks being on the court. He does not allow that. This is going to be fascinating. And I assume Collin goes to the bench.
I was about to say, who do we think go? Is it Royce or is it Collin? Because it's not Oso, it's not Book, it's not Jalen.
I think it's Collin.
I think it might be Collin.
I would imagine that it's Collin, but the jury remains out. So we will find out if we're all right or we're all wrong in 24 hours or 21 hours.
So yeah, less than that.
Yeah, about 21 hours.
About 3:30, we'll learn tomorrow what the starting lineup's going to look like.
Maybe he replaces Oso. We go super small ball. Dillon Brooks at the 5.
Boy.
No. I mean, you could see moments where maybe you're running Rasheer and Dillon out there as your 4 or 5, and I could definitely see that happening. But yeah, you're gonna run Oso out there till Mark's ready. But this is a huge lift for this team at a time where, you know what, you need a little extra juice because of knowing you're kind of stuck at 7, but you needed something to go, okay, now it's real.
What I really look forward to with it is the balance in shot profile. Dillon and the shots that he takes and the shots that he's shown to be able to make at borderline, if not outright elite at multiple points this season, flirting with that line of really good to elite. It matters a lot for this team. It's a shot in the arm in terms of their late clock when teams are able to kind of wail them with their switching or whatever it is they're doing defensively. Kick it to the 2nd or 3rd or 4th side, and there's Dillon Brooks playing one-on-one. Also, the other very, very subtle yet very underrated part about Dillon's stretch where Devin was out of the lineup, he was getting to the free throw line a lot. For a team that does not get to the free throw line often, he's not necessarily giving you rim pressure, but he's putting a defense in position where oftentimes they have to foul, and that allows for them to have a different type of control for the defense. Usually he's making his free throws. If he's getting there 4, 5, 6 times a game, now you're keeping your defense set more often. Now you got him playing to his strengths as well as everyone else, and that's where you start to pull the strings and dictate the terms of the game.
We had 0 free throws between Jalen Green and Devin Booker tonight. And what we saw from Jalen Green specifically, I mean, 3 of 7 from deep, but I think all of the 3 that he hit were spot-up threes. And with Dillon Brooks commanding more attention, maybe when Devin Booker's off the court, Jalen Green can get a couple more of those shots as well. We've seen his efficiency go up when he played with Devin Booker. Now let's imagine that Jalen Green's going to be sharing the court at least with one of Devin Booker or Dillon Brooks for like 90% of the game, because they'll just kind of be alternating minutes. He should be able to kind of be able to ease into that groove a little bit more, hit some more spot up shots, and then pick his moments. Plus, those are 2 guys that have played together for a long season last year, saw a lot of success together, and really haven't had a chance to play a ton together this year. I'm sure that kind of aspect has both of them very excited to get on the court together.
It was cool to hear Jalen Green talk about it, and I think you could kind of tell that he knew that the day was imminent over the weekend. He just said that we just got to be ourselves. So the focus in them just continuing to play their way. Now, obviously, you have to make room for a guy coming in the caliber of Dillon Brooks, but based on him saying that and the chemistry that we've seen him develop with Devin Booker, I really do think that they are going to continue to play the way that they're playing. And I think Dillon's not going to have that difficult of a time getting in where he fits in, because we've seen him do it. We saw him take on a role larger than was expected to be placed upon him and thrive in it. And I think now the role might not be as big, but now he's in a situation where he is at a different part on the totem pole, and also getting back to himself, but he's dealing with lesser defenders now, because teams are going to put their best defenders on Jalen Green, Devin Booker, because they have to, or else they'll make you pay. And now Dillon Brooks can be the beneficiary of that. So I'm very excited to see that. And just that video I saw the other day of his like isolation scoring, like I miss watching him hoop. And it'll be really fun to watch Dillon Brooks hoop again.
By the way, all our supporter club members, drop that Dillon emoji in the chat right now. Let's get a Dillon emoji train going and hype this up. He's back tomorrow. Let's have some fun.
And Gil, that's the point that I was going to get to as well, because, like, yes, he had the hand injury, so there was minimum contact things he could do with that. But what he was able to do is, for one, like we've talked about, stay in condition, and Jordan not even mentioned it in pregame. On Saturday, he can stay in condition because his legs are there, and you know what? No one's going to really outwork Dillon Brooks. But the other part of it too, kind of in alignment there, is Dillon's also able to continue to work his footwork. I watched him come into the gym 2 to 3 weeks before we're hearing this news now, and he's walking right to his spots, and he's working, playing off of reverse pivots, playing off of inside pivots, playing off of shot fake, pivot into a jump shot. Like all of those shots that we've seen him take advantage of that have drawn some comparisons, which came from, his inspiration of how he plays the game and Kobe Bryant, like that special footwork, just kind of creating freedom for himself. He's been working on all of that. He's kept his sword sharp, and I think he's going to be able to finally get a chance to get back to hooping in a relevant manner tomorrow.
I know he hasn't been on the court with these guys, but it's not like Dillon Brooks has just been sitting on the sideline with his eyes closed this entire time. Like he's seen that.
Had access to the games.
Well, right. Like he's seen that Jalen Green has found his niche as the starter for the Phoenix Suns and really kind of going off in the first quarter. And that then Devin Booker kind of comes in and settles things down a little bit. He sees what's going on, and he's a smart basketball player. I mean, he's not a perfect basketball player. There are still some concerns, and maybe we could talk about those on the other side of the break, but he's a smart guy who is aware of kind of maybe where he stands in the hierarchy, and there might be some nights where he doesn't need to take a ton of shots, but when you get into the playoffs, you need somebody with the balls that Dillon Brooks has, the guy who's going to be like, I don't care if I'm 1 of 10 from the field right now. I like my matchup. I'm going to get to my spot and take it. And the Suns, they have a lot of those guys, but Dillon Brooks was almost the best one of them when he was still playing. So I'm excited to just see how excited he is to get back on the court. And I'm sure we're going to see some pretty audacious shot attempts tomorrow.
Of course. I can't wait for the first one.
Yeah, look, they're only audacious if he misses them. I've seen plenty of games where he doesn't miss a lot of them. Your hope is if he and Jalen are a little inconsistent at times, they're opposite, right? Mm-hmm. Dillon's got it going if Jalen's having an off night and vice versa. That's the way you hope it works out, because now you have essentially 2 number 2 scorers this season with it. But Dillon strikes me as a guy that will kind of understand where he fits in and get his when the opportunity arises, but not take away from anything that Jalen or Book has going either. So it just makes you deeper and a little bit more dangerous when one of those guys is off the court.
Yep.
Look, we got more Dillon Brooks talk coming. Plus, the Phoenix Suns did pick up a win over Dillon Brooks' former team, 131-105. We'll talk about our blue-collar boy, about our dude of the night, but a little bit more Dillon Brooks talk on the other side of our second break. Mountain America Credit Union is the official credit union of the Phoenix Suns and the Phoenix Mercury and Oso Ighodaro. Plus, they help you as well because everybody, not just Oso, gets a My Style checking account with perks just for you. I'm talking restaurant deals, telehealth access, mobile phone protection, loan rate discounts, identity protection, offers on travel and events. And here's this. More. That's right. You get more with Mountain America Credit Union, and you can get that as the Phoenix Suns card, and then you can get a Mercury card, and you can use a no interest credit card for that one, including low rate, cashback, and rewards cards option. That's right. Mountain America is here to guide you forward on your financial journey, whether it's a My Style checking account or the no annual fee credit cards. Get your Suns and Mercury card today. Apply at any Arizona branch. Visit macu.com/Suns to learn more. Insured by NCUA. Terms, conditions, and exclusions apply. Loans on approved credit.
You guys have swag, and you know where the best place to have swag is? Well, Las Vegas, but you don't need to go to Las Vegas to show it off.
No.
You can go to our friends at Gila River Resorts and Casinos because they're bringing Vegas to you, baby. That's right. And they are going to bring those vibes now through April, which is technically a few days from now, but they're still doing it in the month of April with the Vegas residency at Gila River Resorts and Casinos, where they're going to have exclusive concerts, extended DJ sets, showgirls, chef-driven dining, pop-up bars, and surprise cameos, plus the fabulous Corvette giveaway. 4 vets they're giving away. That's right, 4 of them, and we're winning them, so don't even bother. Just right here. All 4 of them right here, so don't bother now. Giving away 4 of them at all 4 Valley locations. Head out there and sign up today so you can wind up with a sweet Corvette. Who wouldn't want that? I know my wife would. They bring Vegas only Gila River Resorts and Casinos. Visit playatgila.com for a full schedule of events.
Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Dillon Brooks is back tomorrow, according to Dwayne Rink. And I'm not sure if Jordan Ott said it post-game or if that's something that Dwayne heard through his own reporting. So we'll let you know when we know. He saw
Dillon fist bump.
Yeah, I saw Dillon fist bump Steven and said this is an educated guess. Tavero says you wrapped Dillon's hand up so well and let him use it like a club.
I thought they should have done that about a week ago.
I said that when the injury first happened.
I mean, he'll probably just use his hand like a club anyway. But here's the thing with Dillon Brooks. He's been awesome. He's been really, really good this year. What are your concerns, maybe? I know we talk about how we think he's going to fit in. Is there a world where maybe there is a little bit of a power struggle unintentionally on offense on who gets shots when? Are we worried about picking up more technical fouls, more flagrants before we get into the playoffs? Are there any concerns with this great news?
I'm not concerned about a power struggle more than I'm concerned about maybe them overthinking it or not being as comfortable as they think they're going to be. I think that's the only thing that you can say everything about being yourself. You can say everything. I feel like I'm contradicting myself also, but you can say all of these things about how excited you are making it work, but then you get out there and it's not how you expected it to be. Now, this isn't at all what I expect to happen, but I recognize that there is a world in which this does happen. So I think that would be my only concern, that it's a little bit more of an adjustment period than they expect it to be. And then that kind of puts everybody else in a little bit of a spot where they're kind of watching and waiting and figuring out how to get in where they fit in. And I think that's also a big concern. Like maybe those 3 figured it out, but everybody else doesn't figure out where they fit in. I think that's honestly a more realistic concern than them not figuring it out, is that the guys around them are kind of like, okay, now what do we do?
I think my concern is actually on the defensive end.
Mm-hmm.
Blow-by rate?
How sharp are the rotations? How do they all get used to each other on that side of the ball again? And Dillon is the voice, is the communicator a lot out there on the defensive end. So how does everybody reacclimate to that? How do some of these guys who haven't been in rotation minutes with him, a Fleming, a man, how do they react, and how does it come together on the defensive end? I have faith that the offensive end is just going to make sense. It's the defensive end where we need to see the impact, and I hope it comes together quickly.
Yeah, I don't really have any worries about him. I feel like he's a perfect fit. I don't feel like my perspective has shifted as far as, him coming to the Suns, what he could do for the Suns on a tangible and intangible level. I do think the one thing, if I had to pick one, it would just be the quote unquote rust and the getting back in game rhythm, because it's been 6 weeks, 5 weeks since that game?
All-Star break, basically.
Right. So that's going to be tough for him to navigate in this sprint. And at this point, everybody's turning the corner in the 400 down the home stretch. Everybody's trying to find their footing as a team. For him to have to jump in as the team is turning that final corner is tough. But I imagine if anybody's able to make that work, it's probably going to be him, just off of his sheer desire to win and the way that those characteristics and how he wears them in turn kind of wears on his teammates in a positive way.
Good comment from Cheesy Waffles 9408 in the chat. Thank you, Cheesy Waffles 9408. Says he fit in with the Rockets where he was the fourth scoring option, so it's not going to be a problem here at the Suns playing with Jalen and Book. That was what was so incredible about Dillon's season, is that he was doing something that, he's never really been asked to do in the NBA before. And now maybe he's going to be even better and more efficient. I think one of the things we saw from him that wasn't as good as it was in Houston was the spot up 3-point shooting and just overall 3-point shooting. Well, the percentages were down because he took really difficult threes this year compared to a lot of the spot up threes he was taking last year. So I know I asked for concerns, but now I'm just giving more positives. I'm so excited.
Well, those looks should be better too.
Yes, for Book, for Jalen, for Dillon, for Collin, for everybody on the lineup. When Dillon Brooks is on the court, the shots are gonna come easier.
Yeah, and I gotta imagine that in particular for Dillon, because now he isn't that second. He's moving to that third option. They've got to focus on Book and Green from what we've been able to, what we've seen from them recently, and maybe he gets forgotten a little bit and he gets some of those better looks. That's going to be exciting for it. It's just going to come down to, can you make it all fit consistently in 7 games? That's the theme the rest of the way. Can you figure it out in time before it all becomes pressure?
Yeah, and here's the thing. If Jalen does have a down night because he's kind of having a hard time fitting in, well, I think Dillon will step up, right? Or maybe this does free up. I know, Gil, you said maybe some other guys are trying to find their way back in the offense. Well, what if you get Grayson Allen back tomorrow night too, right? When I got Collin Gillespie and Grayson Allen likely coming off of the bench, well, if Dillon's a little bit rusty or Jalen's having a hard time fitting in, we know Book's going to be fine. Okay, well, maybe Grayson Allen and Collin Gillespie just come off the bench and hit a bunch of threes, right? And then if you get Haywood Highsmith back as well, and then eventually Mark Williams, I mean, that is such a deep rotation going into the playoffs. So maybe tomorrow's game isn't going to be what it would look like if you had a full season of these three playing together. I think there is kind of a certain lower ceiling that they can hit compared to if we got, let's say, like 60-ish games of these three together, Gil. But I still think the ceiling they could hit is higher than anything they could do without those three.
And to address my own concerns about everything that I've talked about, I think
Gil's just having a conversation with himself.
I'm basically what's going on. But no, I think the thing that when you start naming these guys, you start talking about, obviously start with Devin and Jalen and Dillon. Then you talk about potentially getting Grayson back. Talk about Collin breaking out of whatever he was dealing with and getting out of the slump. And Oso, whoever it is, there are a lot of things and a lot of common threads that keep this team and give this team an identity. And one of the biggest ones, I think, is this is a smart basketball team. They have a lot of smart players on this team. They have high basketball IQ. And I think the younger players are still learning and figuring things out, but the smart players are smart enough to kind of carry them along, and they're figuring things out as well. So even if it in practice is a little clunky, and that is to be expected with the learning curve, I think that you can compensate for that with your basketball IQ, the way that you have just watched players and understand the spots they like to go to and kind of get a feel for everything and pick it up on the fly. So, Jordan Ott said, in a perfect world, they'd have way more than 7 games to figure it out. But 7 is way better than, hey, rolling the ball out in the play-in tournament and saying, oh, figure it out. They will make the most out of this runway that they get, and it starts tomorrow, and I'm excited to see how that looks.
Any final thoughts on Dillon Brooks before we take a break and wrap up tonight's game?
So do we agree Jalen, Devin, Royce, Dillon, and then Oso for now until Mark's back?
That's my gut says.
I think so.
Yeah, I believe so as well.
Yeah.
I am looking forward to when Haywood Highsmith returns
Mhm.
and we finally get to watch him defend with Dillon Brooks, mixing in a little bit of Rasheer Fleming with that duo of defenders. There's a lot of fun to be had for the Suns on that end of the floor.
Jordan Goodwin too.
Yeah, a little
That
side of
dog
Jordan.
lineup
Well,
is
that's
so
a
fun.
there's nothing little about that part of it. That's a huge side. But I think the other part too is the lineup versatility that Dillon Brooks helps you lean into and unlock to a further extent than you've been able to showcase post All-Star break. That's something that Jordan Knott has he mentioned he wants to do more. He hasn't had the facilities to do so recently. He's starting to get a little bit closer to that. I imagine we see more small ball down this home stretch, regardless of whether Mark Williams is in the rotation or if they're still waiting for him to return.
Couple super chats here before we hit a break. Kara with a $10 super chat says, Dillon broke his hand against Orlando. Now he returns, as it is written.
Poetry.
It is
Full
poetry.
circle. Same thing. The losing streak started against the Raptors and ended against the Raptors.
Wow. Some would say this is a poetic season from the Suns. Richard with a $4.99 super chat. Thanks, Richard. Says, when Mark comes back, does that mean Man goes to the bench? Well, I mean, you stays on the bench, is I'm assuming what you are saying there.
Is it out of the rotation?
Does Man get minutes when Mark Williams is back?
I think he's forced his way into it. I don't think you can give him 0 after what he's done for you. I don't think it'll be significant minutes, but I think he's forced his way into getting some playing time.
He'll get a chance. It's going to be about what he does with that first 4 to 5 minute shift that he's earned. I'm not saying he's just being given it, that he's earned, but Jordan Knott will have to give that to him. Now it's just a matter of what does that look like? Is he sharp? Is he making quick decisions, keeping the ball high? Is he grabbing rebounds? Is he protecting the basket, not fouling, defending the scheme? Is he doing all of those things in a blend, giving the energy and effort that he needs? Remains to be seen.
I mean, I think when Mark comes back, he will for sure still get some minutes as you kind of figure out who Mark Williams is. But if you just hypothetically get the Mark Williams that you got at the beginning of the year and you're in a play-in or playoff scenario, I would assume they're going to stick with Mark and Oso unless they need a break glass in case of emergency.
You're going to need him in a series against an OKC or Spurs. He's going to have to be somebody that is available and ready to go with the size and the versatility. You're gonna need him at some point.
And it's a good luxury to have to where, hey, Mark's coming back from this and you don't want to avoid anything further happening. Obviously, he's not going to be back on the court until he's healthy and cleared to do so. But if you can limit his workload, 20, 24 minutes, limit also, not overexert him, 20, 24 minutes, you can find, 6 to 8 minutes for no, seriously, 6 to 8 minutes for. I was using.
It's worse when you don't even say it. Then somebody else.
They started chuckling. I was using even numbers. Okay, but you can find some minutes for man just off the bench to limit both of their respective workloads to not overexert the other bigs. Have a 3 big man rotation.
Yeah, come on, Malawatch tonight in just 13 minutes. By the way, so I mean, no. Mark Williams tonight, he only played 13 minutes, but he had 6 points, 11 rebounds, which is a career high, and 3 blocks. 6 of his rebounds were offensive rebounds. Now, this is a Memphis team that basically doesn't have a center, so you'd want him to do that. But again, he's doing the things that you want him to do. All right, let's take a break here. When we come back, we'll finally name our dude of the night, and we'll finally talk a little bit more about a 131-105 victory for the Phoenix Suns. We're going to do it right after this. We love our friends over at Bet365, and the best part of the sports calendar is finally here. The next few months are a sports fans' fever dream, which means there's never been a better time to check out Bet365. If you're not quite convinced yet, consider this. Just in time for the biggest games, they're now offering one of their biggest promotions. Bet 10, get 365. They don't call it Bet365 for nothing. When any new Bet365 user signs up and makes a $10 bet, they'll get $365 in bonus bets. Win or lose, you can lose your $10 bet and get $365 in bonus bets.
So Eric would still get his $365.
Yeah, I mean, I need it, but you know what? I'm not a new user. You could be a new user. Bet 10, get $365 in bonus bets. Bet365 for winning is everything. Download the app today and use code PHNX365 at sign up. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-NEXT-STEP-AZ. Please gamble responsibly. Must be present in AZ. $10 minimum deposit required. Bonus bet wager excluded from returns. New customers only. 21 plus only. Time limit. Minimum odds and terms and conditions apply. In-app only. Void where prohibited.
If I say Window Depot, Steven, what do you think they sell?
Windows as a depot store.
And oh so much more, my friend. Not
Come on,
just
man.
Oh, so much more. Window Depot
I heard you the first time.
is more than just a window store. They'll connect you with flooring.
He said, "I got it, dog."
They will connect you with
My ears are cleaned out.
Anything you need for your home, your bathroom, your kitchen, they got it. They're gonna take care of you. I am gonna be using them for some of my home projects, and it's because they're great for contractors. Contractors love them, but everyday Joes or Gregs like me love them as well.
Your name's Greg.
And, or I suppose, whatever you want to say.
It's Greg.
You can order online, pick up in store. They've got everything that you need. Plus, they've got a designer in-house that'll help you design the space of your dreams for free. So head to thewindowdepot.com and get started on your next project today.
Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. Daryl says, when does Mark come back? Well, we don't know exactly when. Mark Williamson gave a thumbs up when Devin Booker said we're waiting on this guy to come back soon in his post-game interview with Amanda Pflugrad. Just let me know, guys. What do you think? Gut check. This week?
He is risen on Easter is what I'm going to say.
Oh.
Wow. On Sunday.
Wow.
Okay.
The Suns play on Easter, just for those of you who don't know.
Yes, they play Sunday.
By the way, speaking of playing a game today, it's the opening day at home for the Arizona Diamondbacks, and we're doing an opening day Die Hard offer. $36 for year one of being a Die Hard. That's $44 off, which is 55% off. You get a free shirt or hat of choice from the store, including the brand new D-Backs hats. You get access to our Die Hard Discord, 20% off merchandise and events, and access to Die Hard only articles from Derek and Alex. Go to gophnx.com/intro. Plus, we have a lot of really nice new Diamondbacks gear, including the large measurements pitch that killed a bird. Definitely not Randy Johnson.
Large measurements.
The large measurement. Let's talk about tonight's game. The Phoenix Suns picked up a big victory, 131-105. Let's go ahead and name our dude of the night, presented by Gila River Resorts Casinos. You do you at Gila River Resorts and Casinos. Visit PlayedGila.com for more details. It has to be Devin Armani Booker. 26 minutes, but 36 points. 16 of 24 from the field, 4-6 from deep, and a staunch 0 for 0 from the free throw line, adding in 5 assists, 2 rebounds. Devin Booker was really efficient tonight scoring the basketball.
Yeah, especially early on. He and Jalen carried the offense by themselves there for a while in this game, and you need Devin Booker to be this man. He has been this man as of late. I mean, Jalen talked about it the other night. Book looked at him and says, it's time to lock in, and Book has done just that on the floor tonight. Was another example of
One of the things that we talk so much about, Steven, you probably could speak to a little more, but he was doing his work in the post a lot. You know, he's getting in the lane, he was bodying people a little bit, and which makes it even crazier that he didn't draw any contact. Well, the contact that he was drawing was not signaled as such, but the fact that he just kind of showed his ability to be a 3-level scorer in a different way than you typically might think of a guy or a guard being a 3-level scorer was really impressive for me to see tonight. And honestly, I think kind of getting that going early, you start seeing the jumper fall as well, and he kind of had everything going tonight, and he's clicking at the right time of the year.
One of my favorite parts about Devin's game, and there's a lot to be liked from how he approaches it and the way that he can execute against different styles of defenders, let alone coverages. But I like that, like, sometimes you watch him enough, you forget he's borderline 6'6".
Mm-hmm.
That's a big guard.
Yep.
And he's not like a frailly built guy either. He's a guy, like we talked about it a lot last season, Eric. Devin is not given enough credit for how physical of an offensive player he is, and how that wears on an opponent both in foul trouble and trying to figure out how to defend them without fouling over the course of a game, but also just a war of attrition. You get hit in your chest a couple of times or too many times, you start being just the slightest bit tentative. If you're being tentative with someone that can be as physical as he is, and he's in 2-point range, that's just a pull-up. That's a shot that he can knock down with the best of the 2 guards in history of the game. So him being able to operate out of the post gives him opportunity to be more of a bully, is what I like to call it. Just being a bully guard, taking advantage of smaller guys, hitting them in the chest, getting to his shots, or playing off of that gravity that he also gets from playing in the post. I think that's something that the Suns have been leveraging a little bit more of late, just getting him the ball in the post, cross screens for him, sometimes coming from Jalen, sometimes from Grayson, sometimes from Collin. They get it to him in the post. If they double, cool. They're getting corner threes on the backside, manipulating the numbers advantage there. And if they don't double, he's already at home, so he doesn't have to create too much more space than he's already able to get just off of the bump phase.
There is nothing offensively that Devin Booker cannot do.
Mm-hmm.
He was 4-6 from deep. Probably could have been 5-7. His foot was on the line for one. Still made the shot. Obviously,
His favorite.
Forgot about
favorite.
Yeah, it's his favorite thing.
It's your favorite
Right.
shot too, right? The long
Shout out David. No, I stopped passing him the ball because he decided to take a shot just very casually with his entire
Did you hit
big
it?
toe on the line.
I don't
No.
think I made it either.
Oh, okay.
No,
Well, I
so
mean,
he-
you hit it. That's all that
No,
matters.
it don't matter. It don't matter. It don't matter.
It kind
No,
of pick up.
nah.
It don't
No,
matter.
it wasn't a pickup. It was over
Oh,
there.
out there.
It don't matter. It don't
Nah,
matter.
that's religious.
Come on.
That's religious.
It,
Hey, listen, point guards at
Real
heart.
hoop, bro.
Point guards at heart. Don't be messing up my passes.
Hey, be
You know what
careful,
time
you're
it
about to get
is.
yourself cut by the Bulls here. Look, congratulations to Devin Booker as well. Moving past Lou Hudson, Calvin Murphy, and World Be Free to be 83rd all
Bam
time
spot.
scoring list. So
83.
I love it.
I mean, yeah, dude, Book, man, he's so good. And again, we talk about playoff X factors, Dillon Brooks and Jalen. Like, Devin Booker might just go out there and drop 50 in a play-in game. Like, that's how good he is. Seeing all the different types of coverages that he gets sent. He's also, I think, improved his offensive game in a couple different ways this year. He is driving a lot more. I know he's always been able to be physical and to post up and to finish around the rim, but he's definitely driving more this year than he was doing last year. And I think that's really opened up a lot for the Suns offense. And I think that's also allowed him and Jalen to kind of just take turns. Okay, Jalen, you put pressure on the rim. I'm going to put pressure on the rim. You shoot at 3, I shoot at 3. And it just kind of works naturally. So a great game from Devin Booker, but he wasn't the only one who had a good game. Let's go ahead and name our blue-collar boy of the night. Now, look, this could have gone to a lot of guys. It could have gone to Jordan Goodwin, right? It could have gone to Kamal Malawach. I know. But, Steven.
Hold on. We really gave that.
Collin Gillespie
What?
tonight.
Really?
Collin Gillespie tonight.
This is atrocious.
Hold up.
This is atrocious.
Hold up.
No, you hold up. But go
Collin
ahead. Go.
Gillespie
I didn't
tonight.
vote on this.
I'm listening.
11 points.
Mm-hmm.
10 assists, a team-leading 10 assists, by the way, 39 assists for the Suns tonight, their most in a regular season game all year. 5 rebounds, including 2 of those offensive, the highest plus-minus in the starting lineup. And you know what? He shot poorly from the field, okay? He came into tonight on a generational stinker. He had missed 20 straight shots, and you know what he did? He kept shooting that damn ball. He went 3 for 3 at the end of the game, 4 for 4 technically if you count non-3-pointers, finished with a double-double, 11 and 10, one of the few double-doubles he's had this year. Collin Gillespie is a hard worker, and damn it, I think he deserved it.
Do
He
you want to
is.
take this?
He is. I got it.
Okay, you take it. All right.
So, the Suns, for the 6th time this season, have tied for their second highest number of forced turnovers on an opponent with 22. They also had 28 points off of those 22 turnovers that they forced tonight. Do you know who spearheaded a lot of those turnovers that they forced? Went from 3 in the first quarter to 5 in the second quarter to 7 in the third and 7 in the fourth.
I think I know.
There's a lot of Jordan Goodwin involved in that.
Amen.
Collin Gillespie knocking down threes.
Put the crash.
My guy, shout out Ayrton. That's Mamba mentality right there. Look at some of the threes that Collin Gillespie was able to find his rhythm into in that second half. But rewind it a little bit further and see how he got the opportunity. A Jordan Goodwin deflection here, Jordan Goodwin still there. Now all of a sudden they're in transition, and now Collin Gillespie doesn't have time to think because he's got to play in rhythm. Wide open catch and shoot 3. Knocks the first one down, coming from a Jordan Goodwin steal. Now he's in rhythm. But you don't get to that point without somebody setting the table for that to happen. Jordan Goodwin ties his career high with 5 steals tonight. Second time he's done that this season. That is the blue-collar dude. The Suns don't win the game without kind of changing the trend of the game. Only 8 turnovers in the first half for Memphis, 14 in the second half alone. That's Jordan Goodwin. That's the impact he has. That's no different than what he's done in each of the last handful of games to get their defense back in alignment with what it is that their team identity is.
You ever heard of voter fatigue?
Hold on.
Oh my gosh.
28 minutes, 9 points, 8 assists, 5 steals, 4 rebounds,
great.
1 block. That is the epitome of a blue collar.
I mean, yeah, I mean, we can give it to both
you
of
got
them.
excited
So-
because Collin looked to the sky.
Because Collin had 11 points, 10 assists,
Yeah,
5
no-
rebounds.
So,
Nothing.
okay, you guys gonna call me Pascal Siakam because I'm gonna spin this real quick. But
Oh my goodness.
Come on, Malawach.
no,
Wow.
I was about to spin it a little bit. Jordan Goodwin did blue collar things, which is the norm. But he was like, nobody was more blue collar
Nobody's ever more.
In practice, like in actually,
Give it to him every game.
and actually what he was.
I told you this 3.5 months ago. Why are we acting like this is news? Why are we acting like it's news?
It's like your son's
Sorry,
meter,
Gil.
all right? Like,
Sorry, Gil.
See, no, you're good because I we needed that in what he did, but that's always the case. So I agree. Nobody did more things blue collar than him. However, there is nothing more blue collar than the mentality of I've missed 20 straight threes. I'm gonna keep shooting them, but also wait. Let me finish. Also, he's like, I'm not gonna let that keep me from doing other things. He finished with a double. He had 10 dimes. He was setting people up. And when he was trying to get back going, I remember very specifically, he had a putback, a tip in, shortest guy on the court, tried to get a tip in, didn't get it to go, but he kept going. So I think he had the most blue collar mentality in sticking with it through that type of slump.
Thank
Did
you.
this man just suggest that like Vernon Maxwell might be the greatest blue collar boy ever because he made some? He would keep shooting.
Yeah.
He keeps shooting.
He keeps shooting.
Like, come on, that doesn't make you blue collar. That just makes you
The mentality.
Hold on,
No, it was the irrational confidence, but also the I'm gonna do some other stuff too. I'm gonna steal.
Hold up. Sorry.
Go ahead.
I just need to ask them a question.
Oh no!
Was this not a blue collar performance from Collin Gillespie?
Hold on, that's like going. Hey, I go to the car mechanic because
No. Was this
20
no?
times he
Answer the
stood on my
question.
car, but
Answer the
one
question.
time-
Answer the question.
No, it was not.
Was this not a blue collar performance from Collin
He
Gillespie?
wasn't more blue collar than Jordan Goodwin's.
That can be your opinion, and that's fine. But like to act
That boy.
but to act like it's
Your
asinine.
opinion, but it's not right. Is what
No,
he's
that's
trying
fine.
to tell
It's
us.
fine. It's fine. I
Hold
think it's a fine opinion. It's a
I
fine
don't rarely
opinion.
ever play this card, but this is my thing. How you gonna tell me? How you gonna tell me what it looks like blue collar and what's not? I think I'm the one that's got the card when I throw down this draw forward. This is what it is.
This man tried to sneak this in too. Didn't ask the rest of us. Didn't have us vote. He's just
We
like,
didn't talk about it before the
you know who
game.
your blue collar boy is on the night? Whoever I say it is.
Crazy.
I think. Can we put a poll in the chat?
You're right. There we go.
Let's put a poll in the chat. We can both be right. How about that? Everybody can.
No,
be right.
this is my thing. No.
Not the way this
No.
works.
Collin had a very good performance, and he's had a ton of blue collar performances. This was
Not
not
tonight,
one that this was not one that outdid the blue collar boy for the game. The Suns don't win this game without forcing turnovers. The guy that has tied a career high in turnovers for the second time this season is the one that spearheaded all of that happened. 1 + 1 is 2. The Suns needed turnovers. They didn't have it in the first half. Jordan Goodwin sets a career high in steals. The Suns get to their second highest turnover rate in the season again, the sixth time. That's 1 + 1 is 2. Jordan Goodwin was the blue collar boy.
Okay, so let's open this up for our Love the Play presented by our friends over the Arizona Lottery playing gift today. Steven, what is your Love the Play for tonight?
Yeah, it was the steal that Jordan Goodwin got that led to Collin Gillespie knocking down his first three-pointer in a handful of
Really?
games.
It wasn't the
Gillespie-
Jalen Green poster dunk.
Nope. Jordan Goodwin gets the steal, and Collin Gillespie gets off that snide that he was on, gets out of that slump because of the steal. But the Suns also get the win off of the turnovers that they forced, largely stemming from Jordan Goodwin and his activity in multiple capacities. And then the dunk from Jalen Green.
And the Collin Gillespie
hold on.
3 where he looked up
Hold
to
on.
the sky.
Is it Sunday? Because the sermon just happened. This man is preaching.
Amen. Amen.
By the way, also, Laura, I think
we gotta read Laura's
Laura
chat.
has the love to play the game for me, where she says in the chat, as a family therapist, I find these types of interactions fascinating. Uncle Gil is the peacemaker when Grandpa Espo and the boys get into a disturbance.
Grandpa Espo is the instigator, but the disturbance is me and Steven right now. And Grandpa Espo's like,
No, you the disturbance. You the disturbance. I just had to reestablish what the parameters were and where it all came from. Let's not get removed from where it started at.
Hey, by the way, right now, 25 votes in that poll. 80% of the people side with this side of the set.
I'm going to check for voter fraud. I think Steven made about 15 different YouTube accounts.
Yeah, that's nasty work. That's nasty
Can we give
work.
one to Collin for once, man?
We've given Collin a ton, and he's earned a ton of them, but not tonight. I'm happy he broke I'm happy he broke the streak. I'm happy he was able to dish the ball in the ways that he did. I'm glad that he continues to be stubborn. by playing to his
But
strong
not a blue
suit.
collar boy.
But it wasn't blue collar tonight. No, you're not gonna try to.
Steven
fit
said
against
Collin
me.
Gillespie soft as baby bleep.
Yeah, that's exactly. What
Let's take a look at our post-game picks tracker presented by our friends over at Bet365. Winning is everything.
Megan,
Download the
I
app.
feel for you.
Use code Bet365. Use code PHNX365 when you sign up today. Gil, you hit a bet today. Congrats. That's two bets in a row for you. Congratulations, Gil. You have hit 2 bets in a row. We'll get our standings here in a second. It means everything over at Bet365.
You know, this is what I was thinking about that. It was beginner's luck when I was off start.
Yes,
and then I wasn't a beginner anymore, and I didn't have any more luck. But now I understand it, and here I am, and I'm feeling good.
Oh, he's the only one in the group.
Jeez, you can't go negative now, right?
I feel
you still got a little bit.
I got.
Yeah,
I need one more.
Yeah,
but
sure.
also, I know.
Eric's over there cooking up something.
And Eric will start pulling up from.
I'm taking Collin Gillespie under blue collar boys for the rest of the year. Under a half. I'm taking Jordan Goodwin over 6.5 blue collar boys tonight.
Oh, you won. Give him a award. No, you won. You won it.
Oh, man.
The rich just get richer, huh?
By the way, Laura says,
What about the middle class? What about the middle class?
You ain't.
Isn't that blue collar boy?
Hold on, you're the
middle
poorest
class
of the
blue
poor
collar
right now. You're not even
I'm talking about Collin Gillespie. Collin Gillespie is a middle class blue collar boy, and here we are giving it to the elite of the elite. The rich get richer. Jordan Goodwin with another blue collar boy of the night.
Laura says Uncle Gil is thinking, man, I got to get my finances straight so I can move out of the house.
I just got to hit a couple more of these bets, and I'm good.
Gentlemen, your final thoughts on a Phoenix Suns 131-105 victory over the Memphis Grizzlies, where Jordan Goodwin was clearly blue collar boy of the night.
For me, Jalen Green, and Jordan Knott mentioned it when I asked him about just how things have progressed with Jalen post All-Star break. And he phrased it as, we're still learning about him, but he's also teaching us about himself as well. And I think that meeting of the minds halfway puts it to where Jalen is teaching them things about how he's playing. He's also talking to them about some of his preferences and what he's seeing based off of the personnel he has with the Suns and how they can kind of complement each other. And then Jalen's also finding ways to coexist within the ecosystem they've established offensively as well. And I think that kind of, again, the combining of the minds there, it's not just one person overcompensating and the other just conceding. They're very much equal with that. I think that's why we're seeing the best version of Jalen that we've seen at a sustained level over this last 2.5 to 3 weeks of games. And I don't feel like there's room for them to go the opposite direction in terms of bad if they continue to build on top of these things. Look at some of the highlight plays have been awesome, but what I've enjoyed most is how they've intentionally carved out space for him. Sometimes it's isolation and then telling him just go to work early in the shot clock. If you get a touch within 18, 19, 20 seconds on the clock, no screens, go to work. Go get a paint touch and then figure it out after that. And I think he's been efficient with the timing of those decisions. But when he is getting involved with multiple players, he's still doing a good job of turning those corners. And then the other part that I've enjoyed most is him playing off of 2 feet. The dunk was awesome, but I think what was equally as much fun is he gets to the paint off of zoom action, gets to his right hand, they open up all of this space so he's able to turn the corner. The guy's trying to take away the angle from him, so he just reverse pivots, plays off of 2 feet, not jumping off of 1. And now he's able to spin to daylight, not unlike Dillon Brooks is shown to do this season. So he's in a great mental space, a great rhythm. And I think those two things as a young player that is a bucket, capital B, I think that bodes well for where the Suns are headed on the offensive side of the ball.
Yeah, the more he masters the paint for this team and getting in there and weaving around the way he is, the better that this team is going to be. And we also saw Devin get down there and get some fancy layups tonight as well. That's going to be a key as they move forward. For me, it was just survive and advance, all right? You got the win. Now you get to go to Orlando tomorrow. You get Brooks back now, and all of a sudden it's on. This is the final 7 games. It's okay. Here it is. Yeah. Here's who we are. And you're going to have a litmus test against Houston coming up early next week. That's going to be a big measuring stick for you to see where you are. Plus, you get Jalen and Dillon a chance to get a little revenge against their former team. And I need to name Laura the blue collar girl of the night because that was a hell of a job.
How many steals did she get?
All of us. Oh, she snatched that chain. See, I got it right now.
Hey,
Got it.
go.
See, look,
there you
man,
go.
There you
an
go.
old man grandpa can learn a new trick.
Tonight was not the highest scoring game of the season for the Suns, but season high 39 assists tonight on 55 field goals, 10 from Collin, 8 from Oso, 8 from Goody, 5 from Book. They were spreading the ball around, and we talked about the ball sticking. We talked about motion and all of that, and that's a good step in the right direction in a very weird game. We never were really worried about it, and also beats it just kind of being a ho-hum Monday night at the FedEx Forum. So that's a really positive takeaway to see that the guys are moving the ball like that, and it's creating quality looks, and I hope they continue to do that once they continue to reincorporate guys in the lineup.
Yeah, the 5th highest scoring game for the Suns so far this year. They actually scored 134 against the Jazz last game. That's tied for their highest scoring game, where they also played the Jazz earlier in the season, but that was an overtime game.
Yep.
Scored 132 against the Lakers, 133 against Indiana, and then 131 tonight. So one of their highest scoring games of the season. They kind of sleptwalk to it. I want to answer kind of a comment in the chat. Laura said, can't go to the next watch party because it's happening the same day of Easter. We moved that watch party to the following Sunday when the Phoenix Suns take on the Oklahoma City Thunder in the regular season finale. So that will be when our final watch party at Gila River Resorts Casino's Wild Horse passes. I know Anime and Hoop says he's going to try to make it out to that one. Laura, I'm assuming since it's not on Easter that we will see you there.
Yeah, come on.
Go ahead.
I was just say, come on out and watch Kobe Bryant drop 35 because everything should be locked up by then.
Yeah.
Comment and a question. Comment is to Gil's point, 23-9 when they get to the 26 or more assist number.
Call it the SP.
Seems pretty good. They need to find ways to get there. And then question for everybody. Dillon coming back on the back end of a back-to-back. Is that something that you think gives them even more like of a shot in the arm as far as going to get that done?
Yes.
I think that time it is intentional.
Yes.
I agree. Well, we will obviously see how it looks tomorrow night as the Suns take on the Orlando Magic. Earlier game, tip-off at 4, pregame at 3:30, and we'll have you covered with a watch-long post-game show and everything in between right here on PHNX Suns. Of course, you can follow at PHNX_Suns on Twitter and Instagram for breaking news, highlights, memes, everything that you could possibly need, film breakdowns from Steven and so much more. Again, at PHNX_Suns. Shout out to Freckled Mamba behind the Mac, making all the magic happen even when he puts up the graphics that I don't like. We still appreciate him. You can follow him at Freckled Mamba. You can follow Steven, the czar of blue collar, at StevenPG3. That's Steven with a PH because he balances us out unless he yells at me. You can follow Espo at Espo. Catch him on Southwest Bias every weekday morning at 11. And you can follow Gil at Gil McGregor _ me at ERIKRUBY. Uncle Gil. And just remember, Collin Gillespie, blue collar boy of the night. Talk to you tomorrow.
Oh,
Very good.
We all silly like the mayor.